There was a moment at Wimbledon that changed everything around Alex Eala. It wasn't the ranking beside her name. It wasn't the history she had already written. And it wasn't even the unforgettable image of a young Filipina standing on center court after defeating the defending champion. The real turning point happened after the final point had been played, when people who had already conquered tennis' biggest stages began saying the same thing without even realizing it. They weren't simply congratulating another rising star. They were acknowledging that something far more significant had arrived. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't about whether Alex belonged among the elite anymore. It became about how far she could go before the rest of the tennis world was forced to catch up. And with the US Open rapidly approaching, those reactions may reveal more about her future than many fans realize. Because when legends speak, they don't waste their words. Billie Jean King celebrated Alex not just for winning matches, but for inspiring children across the Philippines and countless young players around the world. Maria Sharapova also praised what she had witnessed after Wimbledon. These weren't casual reactions from celebrities following a trending headline. These were champions who understood exactly what had happened on that court. They knew the pressure of center court. They understood the weight of facing a defending Grand Slam champion. More importantly, they recognized the difference between a talented young player enjoying a magical afternoon and a competitor whose game had reached an entirely different level. That distinction matters. Neither Billie Jean King nor Maria Sharapova claimed Alex would win the US Open. They didn't predict a Grand Slam title or suggest she was suddenly the best player in the world. Great champions rarely make reckless predictions. Instead, they acknowledged something much more meaningful. Alex was no longer being viewed as a promising prospect waiting for her breakthrough. She had already stepped into tennis' biggest moments, stared directly into overwhelming pressure, and refused to blink. But what makes their praise so important now isn't what they said. It's what they saw. Because Wimbledon wasn't the beginning of Alex's story. It was simply the moment the entire world finally noticed what had been quietly building for years. Long before center court erupted, long before millions of fans discovered her name, New York had already become part of her journey. Back in 2022, a 17-year-old Alex arrived at the US Open carrying dreams that felt almost impossible. She wasn't expected to dominate professional stars. She wasn't surrounded by worldwide attention. Yet she carried something even heavier. She had an opportunity to accomplish something no Filipino had ever achieved. One match after another, she kept moving forward. Every victory brought more attention. Every round increased the pressure. And instead of shrinking under expectations, she kept finding another level. Then history happened. Alex captured the US Open girls singles title, becoming the first Filipino player ever to win a junior Grand Slam singles championship. It was a landmark achievement that introduced her to the tennis world, but it also gave her something far more valuable. She learned what winning in New York actually felt like. She experienced how the crowd could transform when history was within reach. She discovered how quickly belief could spread through an entire stadium. But junior success has fooled many players before. Tennis history is filled with teenage champions who never managed to conquer the professional game. The transition is ruthless. Serves become faster. Opponents become stronger. Every weakness is exposed. Every hesitation is punished. Alex understood that better than anyone. There were no shortcuts waiting for her. No guaranteed path. No easy rise through the rankings. She traveled through smaller tournaments, accepted painful defeats, and continued improving away from the spotlight. At the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, every training session demanded discipline, resilience, and constant adaptation. But famous academies don't create champions on reputation alone. Eventually, results have to speak louder than potential. For Alex, that moment arrived in Miami. She entered the 2025 Miami Open ranked world number 140, needing a wild card just to compete. Expectations were modest. Most believed she would gain valuable experience before leaving early. Instead, she turned the tournament upside down. She defeated Yelena Ostapenko, announcing herself with authority. Then came Madison Keys, the reigning Australian Open champion and one of the most dangerous hardcourt players in tennis. On paper, almost everything favored Keys. Bigger serve. More power. More experience. More victories on the biggest stages. None of it mattered. Alex attacked fearlessly, absorbed the pace, redirected the ball with remarkable timing, and claimed the biggest victory of her young career in straight sets. It was her first win over a top 10 player. For many rising players, that would have been enough. It wasn't enough for Alex. Because waiting in the quarterfinals stood Iga Swiatek, one of the dominant forces of modern tennis. Most expected the magical run to finally end. Instead, Alex produced one of the most fearless performances of the season. She stepped inside the baseline, attacked returns early, refused to surrender control of rallies, and constantly robbed her opponent of precious time. Rather than allowing one of the sport's greatest movers to dictate points, Alex forced her into uncomfortable positions from the very beginning. The results stunned the tennis world. Another Grand Slam champion had fallen. The young wild card from the Philippines had defeated two of the biggest names in tennis during the same tournament and advanced to her first WTA semifinal. Jessica Pegula eventually stopped the run, but even then, Alex refused to disappear quietly. The match stretched beyond 2 exhausting hours before Pegula finally escaped in 3 sets. Miami changed everything. Not because Alex won the tournament, because she proved something far more dangerous. Her game could hurt the very best players on hard courts. And that's exactly why the US Open conversation became impossible to ignore. Hard courts reward aggressive returning, early ball striking, intelligent court positioning, and mental resilience during long physical rallies. Those are precisely the qualities Alex had begun displaying against the world's elite. Still, one unforgettable tournament isn't enough to silence every doubt. The difficult part begins after the breakthrough. Suddenly, opponents study your matches. Coaches analyze every pattern. The player nobody expected becomes the player everyone wants to beat. What happened next would determine whether Miami had been a beautiful surprise or the beginning of something much bigger. The answers started arriving in New York. The 2025 US Open presented another enormous challenge. Alex entered the professional main draw and faced 14th seed Clara Tauson in the opening round. It wasn't simply a match. It was another opportunity to prove that Miami hadn't been built on momentum alone. She won the opening set. Then Tauson fought back. The deciding set quickly became a nightmare. Alex fell behind by a double break, and countless young players would have watched the opportunity disappear right there. Grand Slam pressure has ended many promising careers before they truly began. But Alex never accepted that ending. Point after point, she clawed her way back. One break, then another. The entire stadium could sense something extraordinary building beneath the tension. The match reached a deciding tiebreak where every rally felt heavier than the last. Neither player wanted to blink. Neither player wanted history slipping away. Then, after surviving one of the most dramatic finishes of her career, Alex captured the tiebreak 13-11. She had just become the first Filipino player ever to win a professional Grand Slam singles match. And without realizing it, she had connected 2 unforgettable chapters of her New York story. The junior champion had returned. Only now, she was proving she belonged among the professionals. The celebration was unforgettable, but Grand Slam tennis has a brutal way of testing every breakthrough. There is barely enough time to enjoy history before another challenge arrives. 48 hours after becoming the first Filipino to win a professional Grand Slam singles match, Alex walked back onto the court knowing the tournament didn't care what had happened 2 days earlier. It demanded another performance. Another emotional climb. Another battle. That is one of the hardest lessons every future champion must learn. Her run ended in the second round against Cristina Buxa. On paper, it looked like a disappointing exit. In reality, it revealed something far more valuable. Alex had poured everything into defeating Tauson. Physically, mentally, and emotionally, she had emptied the tank. Against Buxa, the intensity that carried her through history simply wasn't there for long enough. The loss hurt. But sometimes defeat teaches more than victory ever can. The greatest players don't become legends because they produce one unforgettable performance. They become legends because they learn how to recover after it. They celebrate for one evening, wake up the next morning, and somehow perform at the same incredible level all over again. Alex wasn't there yet, but she was learning. And by the time the 2026 season arrived, those lessons were beginning to transform her game in ways that many people still underestimated. Before Wimbledon, Alex quietly built confidence during the grass court season in Berlin. Grass had never been considered her strongest surface, yet she continued proving that labels meant very little once the match began. She defeated Elena Rybakina. Then came another massive challenge against world number 8 Alina Svitolina. This wasn't simply another upset. It was one of the clearest signs that Alex's development was accelerating. She struck 19 winners while committing only 9 unforced errors. She broke serve 5 times. More impressively, when Svitolina threatened to swing the momentum late in the match, Alex didn't panic. She elevated her level and won the final 4 points with complete conviction. That sequence revealed something statistics never fully capture. She was beginning to understand how to control matches. The difference is enormous. Many talented players can create brilliant tennis for stretches. Very few recognize danger before it completely changes a match. Alex was learning when to attack, when to stay patient, and when to seize momentum before it slipped away. Berlin also shattered another assumption. She wasn't dangerous only on hard courts anymore. Her aggressive returns, early timing, and fearless shot-making translated beautifully onto grass. That realization made Wimbledon far more interesting than many expected. Alex entered the championships as the number 29 seed. 1 year earlier, she had arrived with almost no expectations. Now everything had changed. Seeding brought respect, but it also brought pressure. Suddenly, she wasn't the surprise anymore. She was expected to advance. She handled the opening round with confidence. The second round became much tougher. After dropping the opening set against Maya Joint, many players would have started forcing winners too early, desperate to escape the match. Alex chose patience instead. She adjusted her positioning, trusted her movement, and slowly pulled the match back under her control before dominating the deciding set. That victory set up the match that would change the way the entire tennis world viewed her. Across the net stood defending Wimbledon champion Iga Swiatek. Center court. A packed stadium. Millions watching around the world. Everything favored the champion. Everything except belief. From the opening game, Alex refused to play like someone grateful just to be there. She stepped inside the baseline, attacked second serves, and challenged one of the game's biggest stars point for point. The opening set lasted 84 exhausting minutes. Every rally felt like its own battle. Twice, Alex faced set points. Twice, she refused to surrender. The tiebreak became a masterpiece of courage. Both players had opportunities to take control. Both produced breathtaking tennis. Yet when the pressure reached its absolute peak, Alex trusted her instincts instead of protecting herself from mistakes. She captured the tiebreak 11-9. Many underdogs relax after stealing a dramatic first set. Alex did the exact opposite. She became even more aggressive. Her returns landed deeper. Her movement became sharper. Every early strike stole precious time from the defending champion. Instead of allowing Swiatek to settle into rhythm, Alex forced her to play faster than she wanted throughout the second set. The scoreboard eventually confirmed what few believed was possible. 6-2. The defending Wimbledon champion was out. Alex had reached the 4th round of a Grand Slam for the first time in her career and became the first Filipino ever to reach the second week of a major singles tournament. That victory echoed far beyond center court. It wasn't just fans celebrating anymore. Some of the biggest names in tennis immediately recognized the significance of what they had witnessed. Billie Jean King praised Alex for inspiring an entirely new generation of children, particularly across the Philippines, proving that one athlete can change what young people believe is possible. Maria Sharapova also joined the growing chorus of admiration. Their reactions carried weight because they understood something the scoreboard couldn't explain. Alex hadn't won because her opponent collapsed. She hadn't survived because of fortunate bounces or lucky net chords. She won because she embraced the biggest moment of her career instead of fearing it. After the match, Swiatek herself acknowledged the courage Alex displayed during the most important points. That single word, courage, may explain her rise better than any statistic ever could. Talent opens doors. Fitness helps players survive long seasons. But courage under relentless pressure separates dangerous competitors from ordinary professionals. Former champions recognize that quality instantly because they spent entire careers searching for it within themselves. Alex showed it on the sport's biggest stage. Her Wimbledon journey eventually ended against Jasmine Paolini, but even in defeat, another important lesson emerged. After losing the opening set, Alex fought back to level the match and force a deciding third. She refused to disappear quietly. Paolini eventually found another gear late in the match, closing out the final set, but Alex had once again demonstrated something incredibly important. She could recover. She could adapt. She could push one of the world's most experienced players deep into a deciding set under enormous pressure. The loss revealed the final piece still missing. Not belief. Not talent. Not courage. Consistency. The gap separating Alex from the sport's true title contenders is no longer enormous. It isn't the difference between a player who belongs and one who doesn't. It's the difference between producing elite tennis for one unforgettable afternoon and reproducing that same level 6 or 7 times across 2 exhausting weeks. That's exactly what Grand Slam champions do. And that's why the US Open now feels so fascinating. Because Alex has already proven she can defeat elite opponents. The only question left is whether she can do it again when the entire tennis world is expecting her to.